Ball faces the monsters with a dagger in hand, but in an instant, he transforms into another man. In reality, Ball is a messenger of God. The other man, Gabriel, is the one chosen by God, because the fallen angel Michael is intent on destroying the earth by creating an army of the undead, and Gabriel is the warrior chosen by God to confront Michael. Can ordinary humans defeat a fallen angel? Year 2011. During the Iraq War, as the conflict nears its end, small regions still face ongoing conflicts. Leading his team, Gabriel attacks local armed groups. After the sniper kills 2 individuals in a row, a tank enters the battlefield. Soldier Leia notices something unusual. She instructs Sniper David to come forward quickly. He quickly reunites with his teammates successfully, but when they enter the house, they discovered that teammate Paul has already killed all the captives. At this moment, the enemy's RPG comes flying towards them. Captain Gabriel instructs the others to take care of the injured David, and goes to investigate himself. Suddenly, he senses the presence of death. The enemy sniper has already targeted him. When he wakes up after being shot, it turned out that it was a dream. However, the wounds from the bullet are real. They exist in reality. Suddenly, he hears someone calling his name. Gabriel discovered that a man appearing in his house, holding a glass of red wine. Very casually, Gabriel warns him, "This is trespassing. Don't take advantage of Baal's identity." But he is not afraid. Instead, he starts laughing. He tells Gabriel, "Your number has been drawn. In other words, you have been recruited." Gabriel quickly denies, "I have already honorably discharged. Don't talk nonsense."
I'm not talking about serving your country. I'm talking about serving mankind.
Gabriel doesn't want to listen to the madman speak, but just as he is about to drive the man away, the man has already disappeared. The next day, inside Los Angeles, Gabriel is getting ready for work, when a little girl invites him to play a game. Gabriel declines. On the other side, inside an underground illegal boxing arena, a match is taking place. 2 muscular men are fighting fiercely. The tattooed man seizes the opportunity and knocks down his opponent. He secures another victory. At this moment, another challenger steps up, but he looks much older. His name is Marcus. The previously fierce tattooed man gets slapped several times. Only then does he realize that his opponent is not an ordinary person. He takes it seriously. After a few moves, he grapples Marcus, but Marcus breaks free with a headbutt. Then he is struck in the head with an elbow, and is knocked out on the spot. Marcus wins the match. He wins a lot of bets. At this moment, a man in a suit arrives at the door. He asks Marcus if he wants to play another round. He won't let Marcus throw a punch. After speaking, he displays his chips. He holds a bag of gold. Little Black immediately steps forward to take the bag.
But if you lose, I take his soul.
The 2 of them don't believe his words. They feel like the gold is already in their hands. After all, the other person looks too weak. Marcus takes the initiative to attack. The other side is exceptionally agile. Then a punch grabs hold of Marcus. Black patterns surge on Marcus's body. He enters a memory. Several thugs hold official personnel hostage. After seizing a few packages, one person removes his mask, revealing himself as Marcus. He first shoots one person, then makes the other 2 turn around, forcing the 2 to open their eyes. He cruelly kills them. After the memory ends, Marcus realized that his soul has left his body. The bag of gold has also turned into stone. Meanwhile, Gabriel is still repairing a car. Suddenly, a voice rings in his ears, urging Gabriel to quickly find them, and a cross necklace appears inside the car. He sits down to inspect it. The next moment, Ball appears again. Gabriel is startled, but this also proved that night wasn't his imagination or a dream. Ball mentions Gabriel's several teammates, even knowing their names and ranks. He is very knowledgeable about Gabriel's life experiences. Gabriel suffers from severe post-traumatic stress disorder. After the war, he began to doubt his faith.
Who are you?
Your daddy. I'm kidding.
Ball is a messenger of God. He tells Gabriel, "You have been chosen by God to defend the earth, to fight against Archangel Michael and his legion of demons." Gabriel doesn't understand why he was chosen. Ball explains, "You have been trapped by the past. Perhaps God sent him here to help Gabriel find inner peace." He also revealed that now the gates of hell are closed. Lost souls are trapped here as well, while Michael is using them to build an army of hell. If Gabriel can defeat them, then the gates of hell can be opened, sending the lost souls inside. But if he fails, then humanity will come to an end. Ball instructs him to bring his team to find the Peace Warrior, and then disappears in an instant. When Gabriel returns home from work, he encounters a little girl crying. It turned out that she broke a teacup, and her father got very angry with her. After comforting her, the little girl is still trying to fix it. He feels very upset. That night, he looks at the words on the bottle, and falls into deep thought. Meanwhile, the psychopathic killer Roman is preparing to dismember the girl, to add her to his collection. At this moment, Marcus bursts in. He admires the man's work, praising him as the Picasso of butchers. He then invites him to join the undead army, and advances towards him step by step. Roman is forced to launch an attack, and is restrained by Marcus with a single move. Then black lines spread over him, as he enters into a memory. He wears a strange mask and follows behind the girl. Upon regaining consciousness, he also finds his soul out of his body, leaving the girl in imminent danger. The next day, David stands at the other end of the iron gate, staring at the vicious dog across from him, his eyes full of defiance.
Over that pit bull biting my ass again. I take on an insurgent with an IED.
It's not a pit bull.
His co-workers tell him to stop wasting time and come over, or else he'll face being fired. After some contemplation, David still refuses. His co-workers ignore him, and he leaves with the dog. David is about to leave when he encounters Gabriel. After many years, comrades reunite and both have much to say to each other. After David's brother passed away, Gabriel became like family to him. Gabriel saved him on the battlefield, and upon learning about David's situation, he decides to join the team against Michael. Next, Gabriel finds his female comrade, Leah, and extends an invitation. Leah is willing to join the fight, but her child is seriously ill. It's a strange illness that even medicine cannot explain, so Leah needs to prioritize her family. Gabriel understands and then moves on to the next person. He finds Paul, a current boxer, but his coaching is distracting Paul. Paul is defeated by his opponent, and they have a private chat backstage. Originally, Paul worked in a prison after retiring, but his old illness resurfaced. He was eventually fired from the prison, so he decided to earn more money. He then chose to become a boxer, and Gabriel tells him about the purpose of their mission. Paul decides to join the team. In the evening, Leah bathes with a heavy heart, submerging herself in the water. She sees someone handing her child a bottle of mysterious liquid, and immediately pops her head out. The next day, the three-person team arrives in Georgia, with Leah also joining for support. After a few embraces, she explains the reason for her hurried arrival. She saw a vision about her daughter, and wanted to give it a try. The group heads towards their destination, but Gabriel notices three very suspicious men, who suddenly disappear on the way. Upon arriving at the tavern, Leah submerges herself in water again. This time, she sees a pile of mysterious symbols, all saying Lila, along with pink angel symbols. Following this, she starts searching for the name, but doesn't find any place called Lila. Gabriel suspects that maybe the symbol isn't complete, but it's certain that this name is significant. As for the mysterious angel symbol, the group speculates that its nudity might suggest some form of sacrilege. At this moment, Gabriel picks up a stand from the table and compares it with the symbol. He discovers it's a letter in Georgian, and upon searching, finds that the symbol represents the letter D.
D, the Lila, the provocative picture, the neon sign. Maybe it's the order in which they came.
She thinks about where the peace warrior might appear. The group arrives at a nightclub named Delilah, and they split up to search for the target individual. Before departing, Gabriel reminds David not to trust anyone, including the strippers. David doesn't heed the advice, and sits in front of the stripper. Pau goes to the bar and orders 2 Dante's Hells. While Gabriel is searching, he spots the mysterious man again. The man turns and runs, but Gabriel quickly catches up. He loses track of the man, but the next moment, the mysterious man appears behind him. The man successfully ambushes Gabriel, while Leah is harassed by a stranger. Paul is still waiting for his drink, as David begins tipping the stripper. No one comes to assist him as the two men start fighting. After a few moves, Gabriel gains the upper hand. He uses his arm to hold the man's head, and interrogates him about his identity. The man only says he is an angelic operative. The rest of the team also encountered obstacles, and found themselves in battle. Paul was using one bottle after another, Leah displayed exceptional skills, and David was somewhat awkward. Suddenly, another team appeared and beat up those individuals. However, they claimed that Leah and the others disrupted their operation. They had planned meticulously to set a trap for someone. Due to the interference of Leah and the others, that person had already escaped. Leah explained that they were peace warriors. After a detailed discussion, Leah introduced herself as a prophet, while also marveled at the power being heaven sent, acknowledging Leah as the chosen one. The reasons why They became peace warriors varied among them. There's policeman Jack, priest Will, while Farouk was originally an atheist, who later joined as a technician. Gabriel also introduced himself. After serving 10 years in Iraq, a mysterious man named Ball told them they needed to save the world from a demon named Michael. Priest Will mentioned the term archangel, and the person they were apprehending was one of Michael's dark warriors. Farouk emphasized that they would only follow orders from above, and not human prophecies, so they had no intention of cooperating with the others. That night, Leah received an email. After reading it, she found her companions. Someone could help them. The group arrived at a building, where they met the sender of the email, Debbie. She showcased the power of the weapons she had developed to the group. She then handed a grappling hook to the sharpshooter David, while Paul received a powerful handgun. Leah received a vial of mysterious liquid and an angelic bow, while Gabriel was given an ancient yet sharp dagger left specifically for him.
Why can't I just have this? That's mine.
David tried to flirt with Debbie, but was threatened and quickly backed off and left. Gabriel arrived at a church, where several huge statues were present. Then Ball appeared, and introduced him to a statue named Diana. Years ago, Ball fought several monsters with a dagger, taking on 3 at once without falling behind. But in the next moment, it was Gabriel holding the dagger. Returning to the church, Gabriel informed Ball that the peace warriors were unwilling to help. How would they find Michael now? But Ball took on the role of the riddle master. He told Gabriel that demons have no souls, so they cannot hear music, and must rely on verbal language. Gabriel asked for the meaning of this statement, but was refused by Ball, who insisted that he should figure it out himself. On the other side, the lights in Debbie's armory suddenly went out. She picked up a custom-made telescope, but found nothing unusual. Unexpectedly, a monster was hiding behind her. Debbie tried to grab her dagger to fight back, but was knocked away. She kicked the monster, grabbed her weapon, and sliced off its head. Meanwhile, the man in a suit, Michael, targeted another human. He issued a recruitment invitation, but was rejected by the mob boss. With no other choice, Michael communicated with the group, and they surrendered. After pondering over those words, Gabriel took the group to the local library. They split up to search. Leah went to the second floor, while Gabriel entered a room filled with cabinets. After Leah circled around and found nothing, she returned to the first floor and joined David and Gabriel. They noticed black powder on the ground. Realizing that these monsters were transformed humans, the 4 of them armed with special weapons attacked, but seemed unable to harm the creatures, putting them in a dangerous situation. At a critical moment, the peace warriors joined the battle in time, and easily disposed of the monsters. It turned out that, after Debbie was attacked by demons, she informed the others about it. Michael's demon army was nearing completion, prompting the peace warriors to change their minds, and decide to cooperate with the group. Gabriel suggested that demons were repeating the phrase soft calcite before dying. Father will then mention the existence of an ancient cave town, where this phrase translated from the local language. Upon receiving the clue, they immediately rushed to the foot of the mountain and then hiked up. After a long trek, they reached the target town. However, a fork in the road appeared ahead, so the 7 of them split into 2 teams, each exploring a different path. Gabriel led his team into a cave, where each team encountered a monster. Leah fired the first arrow, but it couldn't penetrate the monster's armor. The same was true for David's grappling hook, further enraging the creature. The monster swung its tail at him. Police officer Jack used a knife to cut off its tail. The monster continuously sprayed black powder from its mouth. David seized the opportunity to thrust his grappling hook into the monster's mouth, finally killing it. On Gabriel's side, Father Will took the lead. He stabbed the monster's claw, but was scratched on the chest in return. Fortunately, Gabriel seized the opportunity. Stabbing into the monster's head made it unwilling to fight anymore, causing it to turn and flee immediately. They then brought the injured priest back, and military doctor Leah treated his wounds. Paul did not want to be involved in the matter anymore and promptly left. Gabriel found Debbie with the dagger, and asked her how to use the weapon. To their surprise, when she pulled it out, flames ignited on the blade. She then returned the dagger to Gabriel, and advised him to seek the priest, as she couldn't provide assistance in that regard, but the priest could. On the other side, David approached Jack to learn some knife skills, but Jack refused. Jack explained that he needed to go to the orphanage to teach the Bible, and help in the kitchen, because he was once an orphan himself. David then suggested going with him. After finishing their tasks, they encountered a mysterious man. Jack immediately chased after him, but the other person was prepared. The motorcycle gang charged at them, and then lured the two individuals apart. Jack took the small path, and managed to kick the rider off the motorcycle, but before he could question them, the person died. Meanwhile, Gabriel practiced in front of the mirror, but couldn't produce flames no matter how hard he tried. At this moment, Will walked over, and Gabriel asked him how to unleash the power of the dagger. Will told him it was a matter of faith strength.
Do you believe that someone will catch you when you jump?
But how could Gabriel prove himself? If Gabriel could achieve complete trust, the sword would guide him back. Farouk found the two individuals. He discovered anomalies in the Ruzinski forest, prompting the group to immediately head there. As if something had flashed by, Gabriel halted his advance immediately. Several monsters surrounded them, but after a whistle sounded, the monsters vanished in an instant. Then Paul raised his hands and appeared there. He explained that he had discovered a demon, and followed it into the forest. He then saw Michael. Gabriel stopped Farouk, believing in his longtime friend of 10 years, and choosing to trust him. The group continued on, passing by a church, where the priest behaved very solemnly.
Suffer a crisis of faith.
Will told him that faith is always something worth seeking. In the evening, the group arrived at a majestic palace with reliefs, depicting the scene of Jesus' crucifixion. Gabriel noticed Paul's strange demeanor. Paul then told Gabriel that they knew he was there. Behind the pillars, numerous devils emerged. It turned out that Paul was actually disguised as Michael. He politely introduced himself as the Archangel Michael. Those cute little things are actually the undead army. He has been right under Gabriel's nose, because Paul died by his hand at the very beginning. Michael retreated to the back, as the undead army launched an attack, but their strength was not as intimidating as they appeared. Easily slain by everyone, Will faced off against the mysterious figure, with the battle being evenly matched. However, the priest was momentarily careless, and was stabbed in the abdomen. Gabriel hurried over to check on the priest, who then passed him the crucifix necklace before falling silent. Gabriel closed his eyes, and felt as though he had entered hell. Baal appeared beside him, and the scene before them depicted how the earth would look after Michael's success. Gabriel has always wondered why God chose him. Baal instructed him to close his eyes, and he found himself back on the battlefield in Iraq. Gabriel discovered a little girl, which led him to lower his weapon, but he was targeted by an enemy sniper. After the flashback, Baal told him, "At that moment, you lost faith and direction, but God never abandoned you." After saying these words, Baal departed. Gabriel closed his eyes once more, and when he opened them, his gaze fixed on Michael. Gabriel picked up his weapon and pursued him. Arriving at the center of a circle of statues, Michael told him that he once knew a warrior named Gabriel, who was just as self-righteous. Meanwhile, a continuous stream of monsters put his teammates in danger, with Michael still attempting to persuade him to join his camp, warning that otherwise, they would all perish alongside humanity. Gabriel drew his dagger to show his determination. Michael still looked down on him, and the reality was indeed so. Gabriel was no match for him, being continuously pushed back, until he fell to the ground. Gabriel closed his eyes, picturing images of a church and Jesus in his mind. He chose to trust completely, rebuilding his fallen faith, causing the candle flame to reignite entirely. Gabriel opened his eyes and picked up the dagger. Michael was very surprised as Gabriel attacked once more. Gabriel stabbed Michael with the knife. Right at that moment, the mysterious man, who had been watching the show for a while, suddenly abandoned Michael and fled hastily. Following that, Lucifer, the Lord of Hell, appeared. Michael's consecutive failures angered Lucifer greatly. The angel of God, Baal, also appeared. Finally, in front of everyone's eyes, Michael turned into dust. Lucifer left with harsh words, saying, "I will return." He then disappeared, and the undead army vanished along with him, finally resolving the Earth's destruction crisis. Gabriel returned to his companions, now realizing that he had actually been dead all along. He just hadn't been willing to believe it. Before bidding farewell to his friends, Gabriel walked out into the sunlight, and then turned into dust, disappearing into the air. A few days later, Leah found the little girl with her daughter, and presented Gabriel's gift to her. It was a set of exquisite porcelain, and that's how the movie came to an end. Those viewers who managed to watch it until the end are truly admirable. The plot of this film is indeed quite absurd, especially towards the end. Michael was easily defeating the male lead, but after the dagger was ignited, he just stood there and took the beating, and the mysterious man just stood there watching the show. As soon as Michael was injured, he immediately ran away. He had so much screen time in the beginning, but it ended up being useless. However, the male lead turning into dust at the end did elevate the plot. If you enjoy my channel, please consider subscribing.